Hello and welcome to the Brand Therapist Podcast with your host, Yamilka Rodriguez. This is my solo podcast today. I'm very excited about what we're going to talk about today. So let me start with a story. Yesterday, I got to meet Jen Zhu. And if you don't know her, she is the founder of Lush Decor, a 9-figure business. Can you imagine that? And one of the things she said really impressed me. Well, I know this, but sometimes it's great to hear it from other people. So one of the things she said was that she wished she would have started her personal brand when she launched her business. And let me talk a little bit about this, and let me tell you what the difference is and how you can develop an amazing and incredible personal brand. So one of the things that happens a lot when I talk to founders is that they think that building an amazing business is enough. And I'm not going to say that it's not, but in today's world where what I call the fame economy, right? Fame is about impact and about really leading the tribe forward is really around using social media outlets to get yourself known as a thought leader in your particular space. So they believe that a lot of times just with their business, it's enough to become a thought leader. But really, it's incredibly important today to build a personal brand. And why is that so important? Because people want to know you. They want to know the founder more. They want to learn from you. They think that if you were able to make it to where you made it today, why can't they? And that's how we impact millions of lives. And so it's so critical to start building your personal brand. One of the things that I talk about in my book, The Brand Therapist, is the beginnings of understanding your brand character. And why is it so important to understand your brand character? Because the brand character, I call it in the book, the fame character, is all about understanding you at a deep level, what I call the brand essence, right? And there's not just a primary brand character, but there's a secondary, and that gives you a positioning. And we've talked about all that before. But what I want to talk today about is what are the 4 pillars that you need to build an amazing personal brand. So let's begin with pillar number 1. So pillar number 1 is all about the brand strategy. These pillars encompass what I call the brand ecosystem, right? It's very difficult when you ask somebody to do this and another person to do this and the other person to do this. It doesn't come together in a brand ecosystem. And the other piece is that sometimes it's hard for us to do our own surgery. And what I mean by that is as you're developing your personal brand, you need somebody to look at it from the outside in, not from the inside out. You can help shape it, and you will help shape it, but you need somebody to look at it from a different perspective. Okay, so let's start with the strategy pillar, which is all about your mission, vision, values, your brand character, your positioning, and what I call your super fan. Knowing these 4 things are essential to start writing the right message and also start executing in the brand ecosystem way. So it's all cohesive and integrative. So so we always talk about mission, vision, mission, and values, right? You need to be very clear about that. And just make sure that the vision is really out there. Give yourself permission to go as far out as you can on this, right? A lot of times when we already have a business, sometimes it's hard to look at, 5-10 years out, but give yourself permission. Like, if you could have anything in the world, what is the vision that you see yourself? What is your big, big, audacious vision? Then we look at the mission. Mission are more tactics. Okay. What are you doing tactfully to get there? And your values is how you express what you express about yourself every single day. And as I've talked before, sometimes the values of the cards are a really good way to start. So for example, if you're a magician, one of the 5 of the values are adaptive, insightful, persuasive, dynamic, and magnetic. And you can take those words and define them for yourself, because adaptive might mean something very specific to me, but something very different for you. So that's the first step. The second step is to understand your brand character. Okay. And this is really easy. If you don't know it, I use archetypes to understand brand character, to really define who you are as a brand. And you can take my quiz at Bespoke Branding, BESPOKE branding.io, and click on the quiz, and you can find out what your brand character is. And using that brand character to really encompass and define you. So let's take, for example, the magician, right? Let's say you're a magician. It says here, a magician sees the world as systems and is attracted to things that help them change, transform, and heal. So how do you turn that into a broader definition? The motivation is change. The need is to transform. The fear is being undervalued. And the behaviors is inquires about the world around them, sees the world as systems, and achieves unbelievable feats. So yes, if you're a magician, you make magic literally and figuratively. So start to define that for yourself. Write an entire paragraph or 2 or 3 that really encompasses your brand character. The next thing is brand positioning. I have a specific model that I work with. I think I've talked about this in other episodes that you can kind of check out, but really think about this as what's your differentiation, right? What's your unique niche. So for example, I am a designer. I worked at Procter & Gamble for years, did research, understand people. My love for psychology kind of grew, and I was able to build this understanding of how to use psychology in branding. And so for me, my differentiation is that I work with only personal brands. Okay. I don't work with products anymore. I don't do products. Yes, I did products like SK2, Olay, Crest, and I was able to really define those products with building characters. It's a lot harder to build a character around a product versus actually use a person to build a character, right? And so I took all that knowledge and all those skills, and now my niche is specifically around personal branding. But if I niche that down one more, it would be personal branding using archetypes or using psychology to transform the way we create brands. Okay. So that's really important to understand. What is your positioning as a personal brand? And then the last one in that pillar of strategy is really understanding your superfan. Some people call it your avatar. Some people call it their ideal client. But it's really critical to know that person inside and out, to have empathy for that person. And I tell people that their superfan is the opposite of their of their brand character. And that's really important to know because some people think, oh, my ideal client is a little bit like me. They're very much like me when I was, not as profitable. And I am here to tell you that that is not true. I worked on personal brands and I worked on profiles and persona profiles and all those things for years at Procter & Gamble. And I created them to understand purpose and all those things. And over time, I started to understand that it was the opposite of the brand because they're attracted to you, right? This law of attraction, this magnetic attraction. Sometimes we wonder why these people are attracted to us. So if we look at magician, the opposite of magician is ruler. So there we go. Ruler is the opposite, and really understanding them and having empathy and building an entire profile with images and where they like to shop and where do they get their information and what do they drive and where do they live. Getting so specific around that persona will help you really build an amazing ideal client super fan. Also understanding their psychographics, but I think it's much more important to understand specifics. So then you can market specifically to them because those are the people you want to attract because they're magnetically attracted to you. You're magnetically attracted to them. It's just the way it works. So the more empathy we have around them, the better it is. Now, I know I've met a lot of people when I share with them they're a super fan. They're like, well, I don't really, know how to do that. This is my space. Your stretch, and I'm going to tell you a secret here. Your stretch is to fully understand these people because the secret of a brand and growth of a brand is building tension. That is just like that. I tell people this and they never understand what I'm saying, but it's really important to build tension between you and your opposite because that makes everything super exciting, right? If we build that tension, we're more attracted to things. And so understanding your superfan fully helps you build tension on your personal brand. And then you're going to know how to create new products and services for your business because your personal brand at the end of the day affects your bottom line. It actually grows your bottom line. And sometimes it's hard for us to understand that. But a personal brand is not our business. Our personal brand is really us as an individual and as a person. So people get to know us, trust us, so they buy from us. Okay. So I spend a lot of time on the strategy pillar because that's one of the most important pillars. And that's really going to help you execute on every single pillar. So the second pillar in the personal branding space is it's what I call the brand ethos. And what is brand ethos? It's really about how you execute. Okay. A lot of agencies, you're going to hire people to do your logos or hire people to do your websites. And what happens with that? They don't take the time to understand your brand. And so they start throwing spaghetti at the wall. And what happens? You get a logo or a template that you're not really happy about and that you don't really connect with. And so you keep spending money and more money, and you never get something that you truly love. And that's why using this methodology is kind of my little secret to executing. When I understand the personal brand and the brand character and all these things, I'm able to execute fast and easy. Because when you know your client fully, then you can do amazing things for them. And it makes your life so much easier. So the brand ethos includes your logo, your brand guidelines, your templates, whether they're PowerPoint templates or letterheads or social media templates. Also, it defines, and then the other part of that is the website, right? And the website is not just about putting a website together. Please don't get somebody that just does websites, because what happens is that you have to provide all the information. Okay. You need somebody who understands your brand, that can do story brand, that can really look at your website and use your tone of voice to fill it together. Also, the other really important piece about websites is your image. Okay. And that's when we go to pillar number 3, which is all about your visual style. Your visual style includes photography, portraits, right, of yourself, lifestyle portraits. It includes videos, and it includes content pictures. So you can use them on your social media, you can use them on your website, you can use them everywhere you go as you put together your media kit. So that photography feeds in to the website. And as you can see, that starts to build the ecosystem of your personal brand. The last pillar is called the communications pillar. And that pillar includes your brand story, it includes your speaking topics, it includes your media kit, and it includes your press release. Why do we need that? Okay, because as you become a thought leader in your space, right? Because you are an incredible individual who has a business and who's been able to achieve pretty amazing things, you know a lot more than you think you know. And it's important for us, right? I talk about fame, but fame is about having an impact, right? How do you have an impact on others? And the way to have an impact is to share your knowledge, your understanding of what you know. And so those things are important because you're going to start getting on stages, you're going to start speaking, you're going to start becoming this thought leader. So it's important for you to really integrate all this information and be able to launch yourself as a personal brand. Okay, so let's review the 4 pillars of personal branding. The first one is strategy, right? Mission, vision, values, brand character, brand positioning, and superfan. The second piece is what we call the brand ethos, the execution part, what people see. And that's your brand guidelines, your logo, your templates, and your website. The third pillar is your visual style, which is all about your portrait photos, your lifestyle photos, your content photos, and your videos, and your brand video. And then the last one is your communications pillar, which is all about your first of all, your brand story, your speaking topics, your media kit, and press release. Why is press release so important? Because you want to launch yourself as an individual and you want to make sure that people know you as a brand, because you are a brand, whether you want to be or not. You have become this amazing individual, and now it's time for you to shine. Why? Because it's all about you. Yes, it's always about you. And that's the way we learn about ourselves, and also understanding and having empathy towards our superfan. Okay, now that you know that, and that is really the brand ecosystem, okay? Understanding and knowing that all of that is integrated, that all of that comes together into one. And that's how we launch our personal brand. You know, one of the things that I'm going to be doing soon this fall is launching my certification program around this methodology. So if you want to know more about the methodology, don't forget to get the book, The Brand Therapist. You can get it on Amazon, or you can go to yamilkabrandtherapist.io and get it directly from the publisher. It's a little bit of a better print. So if you're interested in joining the certification program for the methodology, so you can learn it for yourself, just for personal understanding, or if you want to use it on your clients, if you have a marketing or a media business and learned the brand characters, to use that to really develop your particular business, then that's another option for you. Or if you're creative and want to understand how to use the brand archetypes to help you execute on your clients' logos or websites, that it's very super helpful, because it doesn't just help you with images, but it also helps you with language on how to use that and how to help them. And that helps elevate your brand as a person of knowledge and understanding. Because the most important things for us who have clients is to understand them fully, really get to know our clients really well, and let them know that we're there for them. Let them know that we understand them. Let them know that we're creating the vision with them in mind. So I thank you for the session, and I'm so excited to have spent this time with you. And so I will see you on the next episode of The Brand Therapist. See you next time.